a reason I heard that people don't want to face up to this is because the sheer size of the machine that's involved in trying to trick them and fool them and mislead them and confuse them, the sheer size of it, it really came it's come into action on Hilary Cass and Iman Khelif.
Yeah.
Those two, I've never seen such levels of, but tall women have an advantage in basketball. I've never seen any, such, it's like, because they knew that this is the one that might really get people angry.
It's really bizarre. And a lot of people say, and I thought at first this isn't a trans issue. And then I came to realize it absolutely is, because the International Olympic Committee, they deliberately didn't want to speak with the Boxing Federation, which is almost unheard of in the Olympics, because usually the Sports Federation speaks with the Olympics. And the Olympics were like, no, we don't want you because we do it by gender identity and your passport. And that's very much because of trans. There's no reason they would have that rule otherwise.
It's self-ID.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about the UK. The UK is called Turf Island because it was the first country to see self-ID coming down the road and mounted an effective opposition to it. Wow. The women, the TERFs of the UK are seen as a kind of a beacon to the rest of the world.
Wow.
Because feminists are two feminists in France who wrote a book were followed down the street. People shouting 2 bullets for 2 TERFs and stuff like that at them, In Germany, people are being... I was just doing a Zoom the other night with a guy who has such a rich history in music in terms of bands like Sonic Youth and Eisenstein Neubauten. I don't know how to pronounce it. But he had this incredibly rich history in all these bands, and he has been... he has gone through what I've gone through,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just all over the world. People are just so grateful to UK feminists for what they've done, because they were the first into the teeth. They were the first to go out there and deliberately put themselves at risk because they knew trans activists would attack them. They did that to try and get attention, to try and make people see what was going on. For you to speak, they did a great job.
For you to speak out, and you lost so much for doing so. Are you someone who has, and it's a hard question to answer because it makes you sound like, oh, I'm such a rebel, but do you have a contrarian edge to you? Does one need that?
Yes, I do. I was such a fucking music snob.
Yeah.
I was like, if a band got successful, I was like, yeah.
You were Adam Buxton interviewing Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
But then you grew up.
Then I grew up, yeah. But I was a music snob. I was a lefty snob. I think basically really what happened was the UK's middle class establishment decided that I wasn't actually as they didn't like me as much as they thought I did when I was winning awards and being, making Father Ted. They realized that something was actually wrong with me, So they all sort of pooped me out at the same time. And I went flying from this kind of middle class existence. And when I was out floating in exile, I looked back and I realized, oh, this is a middle class thing. They never really accepted me. No. It's always like Stuart Lee, Adam Buxton. They're all, they all went to Oxford and.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They're all that. And suddenly I realized, oh, okay, this is what happens when the middle class rejects you.
Well, I'm middle class.
Sure,
I'm nice.
Yeah, but I am too.
Yeah,
and I'm nice, but I'm also Irish. And I always, when I got here, I always just thought, oh, people are so nice, And as more time has gone on, I just realized that kind of welcome was conditional,
If you have the right view. I mean, that's everywhere, isn't it? If you have the views they want.
Very much specifically among the liberal left elite. That's where it is poisonous.
I wonder if that's because that's where the cultural power is right now, because maybe 50 years ago when the cultural elite was actually maybe the right and it was sort of more of a religious thing going on, if you didn't hold the right opinions, you'd be out.
Sure.
So that's just where we are right now.
But they've swapped places completely. They, anti-Semitic, misogynist, corporate as hell. It's just like, what were the reasons I got into this fight? It wasn't to harass women. It wasn't to blame Jews for a massacre that was inflicted on them. What's going on? Where did everyone go? and it was floating out in space that I thought, I don't want to be with these people anymore. You know?
Do they make? I just had a thought. I've not seen it. Do they make sort of placard a thing like memes of you of like, oh, you're a TERF now? You know so
you're a TERF now, father.
Yeah,
yeah. But you know, people do that, supporting me and attacking me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's fine. And also, you know, when I see one of my own characters going, I hear you're transphobic now, father. It adds to the whole thing for me, because it makes me laugh at a joke I haven't laughed at in years. Because of course transphobia doesn't exist.
That show is so good, and it, you know what? Because I showed it to my wife, and I don't try to mention her views or anything like that because it's not fair on her, but I showed it that because she's Argentinian, it's like, okay, here's The Office, here's this, here's that, and I showed her.
Did The Office first though?
I think it was Father Ted first. No, what did I I think it might have been The Office.
Fair enough.
And Peep Show.
Yeah.
But Father Ted as well, and just that scene of so you're a racist now, and there's a for anyone who's like maybe not from the UK or whatever, like you can see it on YouTube, or you can see you'll find there'll be a place to watch Father Ted.
Yeah,
and it's so good. And
please get it on Prime or something. I might get some money.
Prime, get it on Prime, and the bit with the moustache and the mirror, the glass, and she was just cracking up, and because it's dated humor, and it wouldn't be funny, and she can be a bit snobbish about humor and stuff, but it's so good. It's so good. So I love it. Anyway, people,
came in on Hitler.
We came on.
Now we're going out on Hitler.
We've gone out on Hitler. I like that. So that's you've got the mind. You know how to write these things. Yeah.